And Bryant and I got this, Bryant Bocock, we got this kind of, when the waiter came to the table, she was like, hey, we've got this special done. Just go ahead and bring it. And we'll just work back from there. Yeah, we're still going to order pasta dishes. And I'm sure there were some pizzas on, there was like 8 of us. That's a good Friday night before a game day.
Sir, can I help you with an appetizer? Yeah, we'll take the special.
Yeah, we'll take the special. The guys group does that too.
That's awesome.
Well, we got into it several years ago. One of the waiter or waitress came to the table. I don't remember where we were. I want to say it was before one of these restaurants flipped. But anyway, I don't think it was Surf. Yeah, it may have been. I don't know what it was. Anyway, it was one of the fancy smancy places on 30A. And most of them are pretty good. I think it's, I think that we elevate our food on the beach, which is great because everybody's happy and you got a ton of vitamin D.
Yeah.
And it's just a mental thing. But there's no doubt some solid plus places. And we ordered the special. Okay. And then we were like, why don't we do this every time? Because you need to eat on gas strips.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, you need protein, you need bread, you need IVs, you need, hyperbaric chamber. I mean, once you're not at that age yet, but you're getting close. But at our age, you need everything. I mean, we got IVs last year and it didn't even touch. I was like, we've got to fly in a hyperbaric chamber immediately. I mean, good Lord. And we're low key. It's not like we go down there and pound out 36. We take pride. We have never done one activity.
That's awesome.
So there has never been a golf 18 hole. What's one hole played? There has never been a tennis game, much less a set. And there has never been a pickleball because we got 2 of them that play a ton of tennis and pickleball.
Okay.
And which, by the way, I mean, evidently what fights dementia and Alzheimer's more than a racket sport? Who knew? But we have never, ever done one activity other than eat, drink, hang out, and sit on the beach.
That's very impressive.
Somebody should come down and write a blog or an article on us.
There are many trips that are, solely based on that.
I know.
The fact that you can do it.
And that's great. But we're not.
But you don't have to have it.
I mean, man, when you come into a guy's trip, you play 18, you go to a big steakhouse, you do all you do there. Then you come in the next day, you do 18. Then you go to the steakhouse that night again or whatever. And then hey, props to those, to that group. Yeah. That's impressive. I don't know how they do that. We've never done one activity other than unless you count walking down to the beach, which I mean, Tito's Water and Orange, walking down the beach. I mean, that's
an activity.
That's getting after it.
That is.
Yeah.
All right, no. When you're down on the beach, do you have activities on the beach?
No.
Not straight chairs.
I've never seen a paddle ball that I can remember. Okay. I've never seen no
frisbees.
Like when you go down there when you're with your family.
Yeah.
And you do
all kind of games.
Yeah.
Paddle ball, the handball thing where you slap it against the net. Even no frisbees.
No.
Wow.
I cannot remember a frisbee. I know I haven't. I've always thought that was an overrated experience, but I've never. What?
You don't like frisbees?
Well, it's not that I don't. It's not something that gets me going. Now the paddle ball thing on the hitting the ball back and forth. I can do that for 3 or 4 minutes. Sit back down. Do it for 3 or 4 minutes. Sit back down. What?
3 or 4 minutes. Them kids play that thing for hours.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I'm not describing what I did when I was 4, 6, and 8 at the beach.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And when I had kids, we did 14 different. I mean, you got them out there at 8. They wake up at 6:05. Right. You're out at the beach. You don't even know where the hell you are as a parent. You're trying to. It's 7:48, and you got 2 of them out on the beach, and they're running around. I mean, by the time the young people, by the time the single people who travel down 27, 33, you've been out there for 3.5 hours, right? It's nap time for, the little nuggets.
You ever lose a kid out there?
No. Not at the beach.
Nice.
I lost Wilkes in the grocery store
That's
once.
fine. There's
But
doors.
that was because somebody stopped me and started talking about the show, and then he ended up on the cereal aisle.
Well, hey.
And so
Smart
I
kid.
was like, what in the hell is going on? But let me tell you, your heart drops knowing that
I can't imagine.
Mama sent you to the store and you got to find a kid. Hey, Dancing Rabbit Golf text line 601-885-3776. Steve Palazzolo, NFL Podcast of the Year on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line at 8:30. Hunter Elliott on the bump tonight for the Ole Miss Rebels. And we are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 1059 The Zone, brought to you by the Nachos at Martin's in Livingston. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. Nachos and ice cold Michelob Ultra. It's a game day weekend. 2 of the 16 teams from the state of Mississippi, your Ole Miss Rebels, and your Mississippi State Bulldogs. Yeah, I think first pick in the draft, game day food, nachos. And then my second pick is, I don't know, it's wings or Rotel. And I know there's a little bit of crossover between nachos and Rotel. It's got to be done the right way.
Right.
The way that some people do it and Wendy, makes it. The way too heavy cheese compared to Rotel doesn't work for me. But that's my first pick in the game day food draft. So,
by the way, I'm a fan.
Yeah, I am. My first pick is nachos because of everything that you can do. Ground beef, smoked chicken, pulled pork, brisket, even seafood.
Candy?
There's some people who do some amazing sauteed shrimp on nachos. Who used to have that were like, this was 20 years ago. Who had that seafood nacho dish? I tell you who had some great nachos back in the day, Jackson, that you missed. But, I mean, you're living the best time of culinary in the state of Mississippi. But Que Sera, their nachos, Wendy and I would die. This was back when we were going out late. We would go in there at like 11. Well, I wouldn't get off because I was managing a restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Shapley's Kessler, and so we'd get there at like 11.
Right.
And I had an apartment in Belhaven at the time. And so this is 26 years ago. No, longer than that. Good Lord, it's 28, 29 years ago. Okay. Anyway, they had some of the best nachos in the region. Yeah.
Was that, or like, what were you and Wendy's like spots back then?
Que Sera, Amerigo on Sunday because I was working 6 days. I was working 6 nights a week, 148 hours a week, or whatever it was. So it was Que Sera, Little Tokyo, Amerigo, and during the day On the Border.
Those are pretty good spots.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a good collection.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 1998. I forgot. Arguably number one.
What?
Fertizzi's.
Oh yeah.
That was the rotation. Que Sera, Fertizzi's, Amerigo, Little Tokyo, and On the Border. 28 years ago.
That is it's a
pretty good rotation, even for back then. I mean, we were on our way, culinary local restaurants wise, but nothing like where we are today. I mean,
That's
like,
still good,
I mean, you've got like Lou's Full Serve. I mean, he's not on the show, but that's a phenomenal place. That's just right down the road. I mean, we've got all these spots now, and that's super fun.
Yeah, I mean, you have to try to eat bad to not eat good here, right? Like we have there's the ample
And
amount.
then we've got Thai and Chinese and
right.
all sort Mediterranean. It's we're going in the right direction. We got more coming. So that's a good thing. Yeah. Somebody asked, do I like guacamole? Yes. Clean guacamole. Love it. I want it on the side. Hell yes. I'm all in. I don't need sour cream. I love pico de gallo. I mean, I think it's fantastic. Fresh. Love black beans. If you've listened to this show, I could eat them on anything. I could eat them on that counter. Black beans are a staple and a must with nachos when we do them at the house 100% of the time when Wendy makes clean nachos. Yeah, I love some shredded smoked chicken, but I can go wherever, pulled pork, brisket, pork belly, ground beef, deer meat. Hell, there are people who get really crispy bacon and put all kinds of bacon crumbles on nachos, which is that's game day heaven. So my number one pick in the out of bounds game day food draft would be nachos.
All right. That's a good pick.
I'd like to ask our listeners, and you can enter to win. I'm going to give away 2 packs of Old Miss cigars and 2 packs of Mississippi State Bocock Brothers cigars. So I would like to hear from you. Here's how you enter on the text line. All right. Dancing Rabbit Golf text line 601-885-3776. I'll throw in 2 rounds of golf to Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Whether you play golf or not, you know someone who does. So 4 packs, 2 packs of Old Miss Bocock Brothers cigars, 2 packs of Hale State Bocock Brothers cigars, and 2 rounds of golf to Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. So here's how you enter Straight Funk. Go to the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line, 601-885-3776. And here's what we have. I want to know if you're listening on 105.9 The Zone or streaming the show. Where are you listening from? And what is your number one pick in the draft for game day food? What's your number one pick? If you want to do a little bonus and tell me your second, third, great. But what's your number one pick? Is it nachos? Is it wings? Is it sliders? Is it something else? Maybe for some of you, it's pizza. You know, there's all kinds of good things that you can do. And you know, I get the charcuterie board and so on. So 601-885-3776. That's how you enter. You could win a pack of Mississippi State or Ole Miss cigars and 2 rounds of golf to Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. And that's a hell of an experience, too. That's what we're doing there.
Solid.
All right, cool. Mine's nachos. What's your number one pick?
I'm going to go. I think it used to be nachos. And then whenever I went to school in Starkville, I lived right beside Stagger Inn.
Oh, yeah.
And so it became wings.
I get it.
They hit us with the 25-cent wings on every Sunday or something like that.
I love it.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Man, it was awesome.
Stagger's now down the road. And they still have a cool spot.
Good.
I got buddies that like to meet there throughout the year just to get a cold beer and some wings. So yeah, I've been probably 3 times this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dang, okay.
And I met Lamonis there a couple of times. So he had a crew there, and I met some other people. Yeah, it's good. And then there's that bar in the front now that they opened. I don't know what it's called, but Ella Hall had her I don't know what it was called. I guess it was Father's Day, or Dad, whatever. Yeah. Crawfish. It's on the front side. It's like a daiquiri bar or something. I don't know. I don't remember the name. But we got a 662 area code here. Nachos and pulled pork sliders with coleslaw. Now you're talking. Ricky Bobby says, listening on the app. I love you for doing that, by the way. Thank you for listening on the Out of Bounds radio app. Bo, I'm headed to Hattiesburg Zoo for daughter's 2nd birthday today. Okay. Nice. Hope y'all have a great time. Bo, wings are number 1, number 2, and number 3, and number 4 with 4 different flavors. That sounds like Joseph Stodgel bringing in those 3 or 4 different kinds of wings he brought in from Martin's and Livingston. And we had an absolute smash attack. Bobby's listening from Eye Care Professionals. Smoked wings and pork belly. I'm in. I need the cigars and golf. All right. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. We'll take a look at what's happening in the NFL, brought to you by Eye Care Professionals. 2 locations on Lakeland Drive. Go ahead and call Dr. Kirk Jeffrey's office today. And they specialize in cataract surgery. Eye Care Professionals, 2 locations on Lakeland Drive.
Well, so normally what I do is I'll get two venti. I go to, Starbucks, I get two venti of the pipe with 2 shots in them. So black eye in both. That's what I come in with. That's how I start the day, so.
Oh, yes, it is. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by the ice cold Michelob Ultra and wings at Burgers Blues Barbecue, B3, Dogwood, Flowwood. Yes, they have nachos, which is great game day food. They have wings. They have smash burgers. Their onion rings are flash fried, and they are some of the best in the SEC. Burgers Blues Barbecue, B3, Dogwood, Flowwood. They just built a green space. They already had an outside area covered, temperature controlled, so you get both the good, all you want. And now on the other side of the building, Burgers Blues Barbecue, Dogwood, Flowwood, B3, they did the green space. So you're ready to roll. They have nachos and wings and onion rings, which are, great game day food. We've been talking about nachos all morning. We got Super Regional Baseball, Ole Miss at Auburn, and Mississippi State at Georgia. So it's going to be a big weekend. And the Mississippi State-Georgia tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is the Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary game, as you know, with crispy bacon. We want to welcome in Steve Palazzolo, NFL Podcast of the Year. Check the mic. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Steve P., I know we talked Myles Garrett and all that kind of stuff, and we talked QBs last week. Garrett moving from the Browns to the Rams, and the Rams were already good. And now they add Les Snead and as you know, McVay, I mean, it's funny. They go all in, and then people say they're not going to be good forever, and then they reboot and do it again and just in no time. But would you have done that? Like, what did you think about the trade on both sides? So, sometimes both teams can win. But what did you think about it as far as the Rams, who are in the NFC, and then the Browns, who have been in no man's land for a while? But Garrett's a great player.
Yeah, I know we live in a hot take shouty show world, but we can have win-win trades. I thought it was
Absolutely
a win-win, for both teams, because I think what happens is teams are in different points in their life cycle. And so the Browns, Myles Garrett's great. He's still in his prime. There's definitely some data out there that would suggest, hey, there'll be a slight decline over the next 3 to 4 years, but slight decline from the mountaintop is still elite.
That's
and,
right.
Right? I mean, he'll still be great. And the Browns are still, wondering about their quarterback, and their whole roster was decimated because of Deshaun Watson. That one deal cost them multiple first-round picks and a whole lot of money that they could not spend elsewhere. So their roster's been depleted. They've actually done a really nice job now over the last 2 drafts, adding a lot of good young talent, and they had another good young talent in Jared Verse. And it really was an unprecedented trade for 2 reasons. Myles Garrett type players don't get traded often. I know Micah Parsons did last year, but it's not often that you see, elite players, but certainly not the best defensive player traded. And then you don't have 3rd-year players who are stars. And Jared Verse is a star player in the league. I would say Myles Garrett's a superstar, but Jared Verse is still a star. You don't see players in the 3rd year of their cost-controlled rookie contract generally traded. So I think the Browns did a good job to get younger, get next year's first-round pick and a 2 and a 3 in the future, get younger while still having a high-end player like Jared Verse. And then the Rams, who were the Super Bowl favorites already this year, become the favorites even more because they had the Defensive Player of the Year and the guy that is an upgrade over Jared Verse, and all of a sudden gives them a little bit more defensive flexibility because of his pass rush ability. So I think it was a win-win. I think both teams come out on top, and as the Browns were workshopping trade opportunities, it probably had to be more than the Micah Parsons 2 first-round deal, because when Garrett gets traded, the team that trades for him, the trading team, the Browns still have to eat most of his signing bonus. And so the Rams essentially get like a 3-year, $33 million a year type of contract, which is 8th highest for edge rushers for Garrett. That's what the Rams are going to be on the hook for. So it's actually really cheap And so Garrett's value was even higher than, say, Micah Parsons, who needed a new deal at $40+ million. That's the other hidden advantage here for the Rams is Garrett is relatively cheap. Now you have to give up a one and other picks and verse, but he's cheap financially, compared to trading for, say, a Micah Parsons and then saying, all right, now we got to give him $40 to $45 million a year.
Wow. All right. I got to give you credit, man. You did a damn good job on that. So
thank you.
See, and I like that, we always think there's got to be a loser in the deal. And in business every day, you're hoping to do deals that's a win-win. And so but we look at this like it's entertainment, not business. I like the way you laid out, hey, the Browns won, or could be a good, really nice level winner, and the Rams, and it could work out for both parties. How much juice do you think? I'm a big Matthew Stafford fan, but how much juice do you still think he has left? 2 years?
Yeah, I'd say 1 to 2 years for him. I don't want to write him. Last year, remember the hyperbaric chamber stuff, and they had his own bus for recovery, and I'm like, man, he's falling apart. And remember, in training camp last year, he wasn't practicing, and Sean McVay's like, I don't know what he's going to practice. We got a bus here, and he's in the bus, and he's getting treatment, and all of a sudden he has an MVP caliber season. So he's been banged up with various injuries through the years, thumb, back, the back especially. But right when you think, well, this has to be it, 37, 38 years old, that's when quarterbacks used to drop off. The recovery times and everything, the technology's so much better right now. And so maybe he does have 2 more years, and he's going to go all in for that. Now, he's had some ups and downs the last couple of years. He was down in a little bit in 24. He wins MVP last year in 25. So there's been some consistency issues with him, but overall he's been very good during his Rams tenure, better than he was during the Lions tenure. Him and McVay have a great rapport. They've developed this offense and taken the next step with how they're using tight ends and attacking defenses. So yeah, I think he's got a couple of years, and Garrett's 3 years, I think, of elite play at least still in him. So yeah, I think the Rams are well set up. I'll tell you if you care about long term for the Rams, and you're right, like it felt like they were going all in a couple times this decade, and they never really got bad other than the 2022 season. They dropped off a little bit, had a lot of injuries, but they used to give up those first round picks, but then they would still draft 10 to 12 times. It's the one thing to keep an eye on. They haven't done that the last 2 years. They've only drafted 11 times over the last 2 years total. And so they used to do that in a draft. And that's why they hit on Kyren Williams and Puka Nacua and Kobe Turner and all these day 3 picks. So that's the thing to keep an eye on. The Rams have not replenished the youth on the roster the last 2 years at key positions. And if there's going to be a drop-off, it could happen 3 years from now. It's just something to keep an eye on for the Rams, because they haven't maybe future-proofed the roster as much as they did, earlier this decade when they were still giving up all those first-round picks for veteran players.
NFL Podcast of the Year, Steve Palazzolo on the Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by Mudbugs. They're open all weekend. Amazing crawfish, crab legs, shrimp, ice-cold Michelob Ultra and Bud Light, all at Mudbugs at the Reservoir, and Mudbugs downtown. I know I ask you this several times a year, but it's fun, and I always like to see where you are and what direction you're going to go. If you owned an NFL franchise and you could hire any GM you wanted, would it be Les Snead, Snyder, Beach, Roseman, someone else?
Oh, man. I feel like Howie always becomes the answer here, Roseman. Les Snead's up there, though. And I did text him the other day. I thanked him for the NFL news in June, which was nice. I think Les Snead's always, let's say Les Snead for now, because for a decade now, that's been the best drafting team in the NFL by my numbers. And that includes not even adjusting for the fact that they haven't had a first-round pick. So every time they traded a first-round pick or multiple, and they got Jalen Ramsey and Matthew Stafford and now Myles Garrett, every time they've done that, it's essentially worked. And they've still been the best drafting team for the last decade. And I think Les Snead has always been an innovator. McVay gets gets this credit for being an innovator. I think that hasn't happened until the last couple of years. I think maybe since they got Stafford. I think McVay was stale for a minute, and the league caught up to his offense, and then he adjusted. Les Snead's always been ahead of the curve, right? Everybody's always like, what are the Rams doing, right? They're really aggressive. They're really finding a way to go veteran heavy when everyone says you got to build through the draft. And this whole like F them picks mantra, this joke, but that was never really the strategy. It was, we'll give up ones, and like I said earlier, we'll draft 10 to 12 times rounds 2 through 7 and get a lot of day 3 picks. But they've hit on those picks, and they've developed those players. And I think Snead deserves a lot of credit for keeping them really competitive during that time, but just being bold. Like a lot of his bold moves have worked, including the Stafford move. When they already had a quarterback, they had Jared Goff, and they said, we need better. We need to take this next step. And I'll add this to it. I think that trade triggered a lot. That trade, and then the Mahomes Josh Allen game from 2021. Remember the playoff game, 42-36, the 13-second game, the shootout. That season triggered a lot of teams saying, we need to have this high-end quarterback or we can't compete. Look what the Rams did with Stafford. They went from Goff to Stafford and won a Super Bowl. So this was a trend that Les helped set. And then you had Mahomes and Allen going, blow for blow in the playoffs, and the offenses are incredible. And after that, remember the Broncos traded for Russell Wilson, the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson, the Jets traded for Aaron Rodgers. The Broncos were looking at Aaron Rodgers, and everybody felt like they had to go get a top 8 quarterback. And what's funny is the Rams executed that well and won the Super Bowl with Stafford. All the teams that traded for a quarterback, they actually set up the teams that traded the quarterback. So the Seahawks trade of Russell Wilson to the Broncos set them up for their Super Bowl a couple of years later because they loaded up on draft picks. And the Deshaun Watson deal set the Texans up to be this top 8 team in the league over the last couple of years. That's what set them up to get Will Anderson and CJ Stroud. So just an interesting time in the league, and Les Snead was one of the trendsetters that made that happen by being aggressive and going to get Matthew Stafford and winning a Super Bowl with him.
Wow. Les Snead.
History lessons. How's that?
Yeah, well, I love tying it, back and where we are today and what worked. And Les Snead is the general manager for the Rams. Howie Roseman, general manager for the Eagles. Veach is at Kansas City. Snyder at the Seattle Seahawks. The other thing that Les Snead and the Rams have not done, right? They don't go to I don't get to see them in person when I travel because they don't travel. They don't go to the scouting combine. They don't go to the Senior Bowl. They have a different way of getting the interviews and character information on the players, and they don't want to tip their hands by doing those pre-draft 30 visits. So everything they've done has been espionage,
a little bit different. Yeah, it's been different. It's been, I think, calculated. I'm not saying everything that they do works, but they've been trendsetters in a lot of different areas, and overall it has worked. And I think you have to respect that when someone is always like on an island in how they go about their business, but they still are able to execute it and win at a high level.
Okay, Steve Palazzolo, NFL Podcast of the Year on the Out of Bounds Show, driven by your next GMC Sierra truck at Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon. I did not know this. We got to go over this again. So Les Snead and his front office scouting department group, who have done an amazing job. You just walked us through so many of the things that they have done. And as you and I talk about, it's extremely difficult to evaluate, land, all the different things. They don't go to the Combine or the Senior Bowl, Steve P?
That's right. So what most teams do, Senior Bowl, they will send, and the Rams sent like a couple scouts.
Okay.
But with like very specific. So it's not, but a lot of times they're this the Senior Bowl. So I'll be down there, I'll be on the sideline, and I'm just standing there next to every, I'd say 2/3 of the NFL GMs are sitting there either on the sideline or in the press box somewhere. General managers, assistant general managers, scouting directors, they're all there. And they want to get this in-person look at the Senior Bowl. And then in the evening or in the morning, depends on the timing, they'll do interviews with players, right? So that's where they get 15 minutes with the players. You get to understand the kid and get information about the player. And then the Combine is similar. The Combine used to just be for medicals, but now you've obviously the workouts, and it's become this big event. But the thing there for the teams is the interviews. So they get to just cycle through 10 to 15-minute interviews with the kids, with the players, over and over and over again. And then after that, you get to have them, on your at your facility if you want and everything. The Rams don't do any of that. They don't send their executives to the Senior Bowl or any of the bowls. They don't send their executives to the Combine. They don't do the interview process there. So they try to accumulate that interview information, I think, on campus in the fall with their scouts. They just accumulate it more incognito.
Oh,
so you don't have.
So they go to Michigan and Georgia
Yes.
and Texas during September, October, November as these guys are working through their junior and or senior season, Steve?
Correct. Yeah. So they'll be there, maybe in October for like a Michigan USC game or whatever it is. And
all right.
Or during practice, in training camp in August or whatever it may be. And I think it was even reported that Les Snead and Sean McVay secretly met with Ty Simpson. So again, I don't know exactly what they're trying to do from an advantage standpoint, if it's literally just to make sure that nobody knows who they're interested in, or if it's just that's how they feel like they'd rather accumulate information. Because those pre-canned interviews at the Combine, the kids are so prepared for that stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what the agents are doing, right? The agents are preparing them not just for the Combine workouts, and you're training for the 40 and you're training for the agility drills and everything, but you're training for the interviews. And you go through all these mock interviews and they end up giving stock answers and they start to just sound generic. And I think the Rams are trying to cut to like, okay, everybody's trying to figure out who's the kid, can I trust him, what's his personality like? So they just go about it a different way.
Wow. Okay. I mean, we've known Snead is really good for a decade plus, but damn, I think he's a Troy alum, which is right down the road from us. Steve Palazzolo, NFL Podcast of the Year on the Out of Bounds Show, driven by your next GMC Sierra truck at Fowler GMC. Did you know, were you tipped off at all that the Rams were going to go get Ty Simpson from Alabama as a first-round pick, knowing that Stafford still has, we believe, at least 2 more years, Steve?
I had no idea. Other than there were some Rams fans who I think heard some rumblings and were talking about it a couple days before the draft. I'll just say this: like when I used to do mock drafts a lot back when Big Ben was still playing, and say Phillip Rivers, I used to think about, if you're the Steelers, why wouldn't you evaluate every single quarterback class? And if you find the right guy, take him in the first round. And I would do that sometimes in my mocks. And I think, Steelers fans hated it. I mean, this is what I would ask. Like, if you're a Steelers fan, do you wish that if the right guy fell in 2018, Lamar Jackson in 2018, even though you had Big Ben for maybe another year or two, you just took a quarterback for the future a year earlier instead of a year late? Because since that time, Big Ben retires and it's like, all right, now we've got to go. We got to bring in Mitch Trubisky. We have to draft Kenny Pickett. We have to go get Aaron Rodgers. And you still don't know who your quarterback of the future is in Pittsburgh. And so that's what the Rams are doing, right? They're just trying to get ahead of it. Whether you like Ty Simpson or not, they're trying to get ahead of it instead of sitting here and scrambling. Oh, Stafford retired. I hope the quarterback class is good this year. Because the 2 times the Steelers in particular needed to draft a quarterback in the first round were the 2 years that there was only 1 or 2 first rounders. Kenny Pickett in 2022, and then last year when it was Cam Ward and Jackson Dart. And so that's what the Rams are trying to do, get ahead of it from a QB perspective.
Wow. And Green Bay has done that, and Kansas City has done that.
And the Jordan Love one was really interesting because the Packers lost in the NFC Championship the year that they drafted him, and they could have drafted, say, T. Higgins, and because he was the next receiver off the board, and the Packers needed a receiver. So you could have had T. Higgins and Devontae Adams. And so it's like a fair question for Packers fans. Would you rather have had T. Higgins and maybe gotten to the NFC Championship, or maybe gotten to the Super Bowl in 2020? Would that one player put you over the top? And then in 21, Rodgers wins the MVP again. They lose in the divisional round. Would you rather have had T. Higgins for 2 years with Aaron Rodgers, 3 years, or had that smooth transition to Jordan Love after the fact? I think it's a fair question, but
that's a tough. Like, as a Packers fan, I'm thinking I'd rather have T. Higgins and make a run over a 2-year deal But I also get where you're going is if you're in no man's land like the Steelers and the Browns and some other teams with QBs, then you could muck it up for 5 years to a decade. Which direction would you go, Steve P?
I think, it's easy in hindsight now to say, well, now that we know that Jordan Love became what he did, that I'd go the Jordan Love route because, okay, now you stayed competitive.
True.
Right? You stayed competitive for another decade probably with Jordan Love, no matter what you think about Jordan Love. But at the time, I didn't love Jordan Love as a prospect. I didn't know he'd develop. I knew that the Packers needed a receiver. I probably at the time would have said, man, T. Higgins looks pretty good there. I think they really did want Brandon Ayuk there. He went a little bit earlier. But Ayuk or T. Higgins added to that Packers team that already had Devontae Adams and Rodgers playing at an MVP level. I think they have a shot at a Super Bowl. So it's a tough trade-off. But knowing what I know now, it's easy to say I think Jordan Love is the better play long-term.
Okay. Yeah, no, long-term for sure. And that's interesting because the Rams did both. They went and grabbed what they believe is their QB of the future, but they also just landed the best or top 5 defensive player in the league in Myles Garrett. I mean, damn.
I know we're up against it, but I'll give you one more what-if scenario for the Rams. Les Snead and the Rams have been trying to trade up in multiple drafts over the last couple of years. This was the domino effect. They tried to trade up for Brock Bowers a couple of years ago, couldn't do it. They tried to trade up for Tetairoa and McMillan at 8 with the Panthers a couple of years ago. They got denied. Instead, they traded out of the first round. So instead of trading up, they traded out, got this year's first rounder. That turned into Ty Simpson. And Jordan Rodriguez from The Athletic, she's plugged in with the Rams. She said, look, because they got the quarterback, they were more willing to give up the first rounder for next year, and that led to them getting Myles Garrett. So this big domino effect of they were trying to go get these star players. It failed. They get their quarterback this year, and that freed them up in their mind to go make this aggressive move for Myles Garrett because they didn't need to worry about the quarterback class for next year. So fascinating couple of years here for the Rams.
Wow. Les Snead, general manager for the LA Rams. One of the best executives in all of pro sports. Unbelievable. Steve Palazzolo on the Out of Bounds Show, NFL Podcast of the Year. Thanks, dude. Have a great weekend, my man.
Thanks. Enjoy all the baseball this weekend.
Absolutely. Speaking of, Mudbugs, they're open all weekend. Mudbugs at the Reservoir. Mudbugs downtown Brandon. And yes, they have nachos. Speaking of great game day food. But also great game day food is crawfish. Is the shrimp that they do. I think it's some of the best shrimp in the SEC. And crab legs. They have wings too. Mudbugs, Mudbugs, Mudbugs. Open at the Reservoir, downtown Brandon. All weekend long. Mudbugs for the win, baby.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Out of Order.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Low Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
I'm like a fat Brett Favre.
Hey, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're giving away some amazing premium Honduran cigars from BocockBrothers.com. They do partnership deals with Mississippi State, Ole Miss, LSU, Michigan, Texas, Florida. And so we're going to give away 2 packs of Ole Miss cigars with 2 rounds of golf each to Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. And 2 packs of Mississippi State cigars with 2 rounds of golf from Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Here's how you enter and you could win a pack of cigars and 2 rounds of golf to Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. The text line is 601-885-3776. We're having an Out of Bounds game day food draft today. And my number 1 pick would be nachos. I want to know yours on the text line. That's how you enter and you could win. So here it is. Are you listening on 105.9 The Zone or streaming the show? Where are you listening from? And in your draft, you have the number 1 pick in the first round of the OOB game day food draft. What's your number 1 pick? Is it nachos, wings, sliders, something else? You bring it. I mean, a lot of people like debris fries and all that stuff. And, there's fried pickles, obviously onion rings done the right way. Burgers, Blues Barbecue, they have amazing onion rings. There's plenty of other places that do too. Got to be flash fried, baby. I don't want some kind of thick, battered up onion ring. What are we doing? Anyway, enter 601-885-3776. You could win a pack of cigars and 2 rounds of golf to Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. You can find us on X at Bo Bounds, and the Michelob Ultra caller line is 601-707-3750. Favorite topping on nachos? Is it the protein? Okay.
I don't think it's close.
And the cheese?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
but what comes first?
Cheese.
The cheese, then the protein?
Absolutely.
So actually the cheese would be the number 1 topping?
No doubt.
Because you want something really good there. And then you get into ground beef, pulled pork, brisket, smoked chicken, whatever, deer sausage, whatever protein you want to put on there.
Right.
Okay.
You remember those old, at the concession stand, right? They had the machine that mixed up the cheese.
Yeah.
Which wasn't.
The fake cheese.
The fake cheese, right?
I mean, I eat that.
Sure,
give me
at the park.
I will eat fake cheese with nachos and jalapenos at a baseball park.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
Because it feels like
but now, when you go to Duty Noble or MLB, like they've culinaried up their nachos, but for years they did not. Anyway, but I'll go either way. Go ahead.
All right, so what's it going to take for us to get like Mississippi State to like put their cheese in one of those things and give it to us for nachos?
I don't know how that would work.
Like I have no idea how it works. I don't know if it melts and like.
I mean, it would be great. I would go. So they've got cheddar, Edam, jalapeno, and Valgarette.
Every single one of them.
You could actually combo a couple of them. You could do a little bit of a milder, lighter Edam mixed in with either the jalapeno or the cheddar. And I think that you would come up with an unbelievable cheese on top of your nachos. And then you drop the protein of the shredded smoked chicken or pork belly or bacon or whatever you want to do.
I think that's how they came up with Colby Jack cheese.
I don't,
Okay.
but it sounded good.
Yeah, it is.
Colby Jack may be a pitcher from, 1958 for the Detroit Tigers. I don't know.
It's a marbled blend between Colby and Monterey Jack. They've been mixing cheeses.
Now, did y'all have Colby Jack in Clinton when you were growing up, or was that way out
I
of
didn't know him.
the culinary?
Personally, didn't
Delicacy.
know Colby.
Okay.
We cheddar and mozzarella.
That's right.
And it
I
wasn't
mean,
even
because
cheddar.
like Swiss for y'all was big living.
Swiss.
Yeah, y'all didn't even know what that was.
No, we looked at that and kind of like curled a lip type deal.
Y'all
You know,
thought somebody was putting together a wine and cheese tray, did you?
either that or maybe it could have been a terrorist attack. We didn't want that.
Okay, got it.
Swiss cheese.
Yeah,
Holes in there. You don't even get what you pay for.
hadn't thought of it like that.
Let me get my whole cheese I'm paying for.
Yeah, so you kind of feel like you're not
Oh, I'm getting cheese.
you're not getting your bang
No.
for the buck
I'm getting gypped.
when you get the slices. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Who's putting the holes in there?
I guess
Who determines how
somebody
big?
in Sweden decided that was smart, like 800 years ago. I don't know.
I'm gonna figure out why.
Maybe it's a snow skiing thing. Who knows?
Maybe it's an aeration thing for the cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah. Okay, that could be it.
the only thing I got.
All right. I'll tell you this: you don't get cheated when you order a Mississippi State because it's a block
Those things are ball.
in a box. It's awesome,
I love
and you can
that.
shred the hell out of it and do all sorts of different things with it.
It's the best gift.
Wendy will shred it. It'll be part of the it'll be in one of the little bowls for
Yeah.
tacos. You can just grab some of the jalapeno shredded cheese. I'm gonna bust open some, eat them. Some friends of ours had an awesome cheese tray in their box at the Duty Noble last weekend, and Edam was kind of the featured cheese. There were others, and I'd just forgotten how great it was.
Cheese trays. Well, I mean, they're transgenerational. I don't even know if that's a word,
I don't know what that was. Yeah.
but they go way. Everyone. It's all inclusive. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. Doesn't matter if you're from here, from there. Everyone loves cheese.
I tend to agree with you. I'm confident that some people, why would you deny yourself
That's a great one. Well,
over the course of your life not having the opportunity to have nachos with amazing cheese or sandwiches or pasta or wood-fired pizzas from
yeah.
Taste? The list goes on and on.
outside of being lactose intolerant.
And that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Oh.
That's just stuff that people make up so they can prescribe you another pill.
That's right. Transgenerational is a word.
Oh, it is.
How about
All right, give me
that?
the definition.
Let's see. Transgenerational.
God, I don't even know where we're going with this. This
refers
whole
to-
words. Some of this word has been so
Right.
polarizing. Go
Yes.
ahead.
It just refers to patterns and traits passed down across generations.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so simple.
So you did hit that.
How about
I
that?
can't believe that you actually used that the correct way.
I made it up as I went.
I know.
I'm glad it was there.
Man, I'm
All right.
impressed.
I
All
must
right.
have seen it or heard it recently or something. Had to have. Yeah, I wouldn't pull that out of nowhere.
Okay. Okay.
Too polarizing. Yeah.
Too polarizing. What'd you say? Transgenerational? Love it. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 1059 The Zone, ESPN. 1059 The Zone, ESPN. We're powered by Rick's Pro Truck. 3 locations in the metro area. Trucks live here, baby. Rick's Pro Truck.com. RicksProTruck.com. And we're powered by your next spray and bedliner at RPT. RicksProTruck.com. Live in the Bank Plus studio.